where we are going to be talking about some really interesting topics which have been, how should I say, uh, sorted out by Son of Sparda, our regular contributor. Uh, and we are, as always, grateful to him for taking out the time and spreading a lot of good news and information that basically, makes our experience worthwhile when it comes to superheroes. So, Son of Sparda, before we start our discussion, give us some prelude.
Well, first of all, thank you for that introduction. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure being here with you and talking to our community members and about what's new in the world, what's happening in the world of superheroes, movies, games, TV shows. So we're excited to get into it.
Awesome. And how's your Ramadan going along?
It's going well. We're a little over 2 weeks in, and I feel like we're finally on break from what I typically do, my secret identity, and I assume most of everyone is also. I feel like once we get into the midpoint of Ramadan, that's when people start to feel it, right? They're like, oh, we can't do work anymore. We need to stay at home and hopefully do Ramadan things. We're gonna do stuff, whether it's Sparda, stuff on the carpet, whether it's stuff that relates to helping family out in the kitchen,
Right.
anything of that sort. Anything other than just sitting around in front of the TV.
Exactly. Anything, yeah, other than TV. Exactly.
I mean, you can do some
Okay.
TV, but just not too much.
Yeah, I mean, like, and for some reason in Ramadan, we just have that thing that we often tend to binge watch a lot of stuff more than the regular days we often do.
Yep. I mean, it's a tradition, right? There's no escaping it. There's we call Musalsalat Ramadan, which is where
Yes.
people gather around the TV after futur, breakfast, breaking their fast, and they watch a bunch of shows. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you also dedicate some time to other stuff that is, a part of the tradition of fasting and other stuff like that. Because man, if you go out, whether it's in Jeddah or any place else in the Middle East, if you go out after say 9 o'clock, that's when people are done with their breakfast and they're done with their TV shows. The roads are insane. All the traffic jams and everything. People are just literally everyone is going out to God
Yes.
knows where.
It's like, yesterday I had to go out,
Yeah,
uh, and when I checked Google Maps, nearly every main road in Jeddah was showing red, meaning
yeah, yeah.
severe traffic jams.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
So I hope you're done with your Eid shopping.
I haven't even started, man. So at some point, I'm going to get around to it. Hopefully, I'm not alone. And there's some people out there maybe in the same uh, boat with me who have yet to start. I'm one of those people who start very late. So hopefully, I can get around to it and prices won't be ridiculous and tailors won't be like, no, we can't take orders anymore. Hopefully, that won't be the case. We'll see.
Inshallah khair. Inshallah khair. Okay, so Son of Sparta, can you please start out with what are we basically going to be discussing? So to kick off the discussion, just name the topic so that the community can, really be excited because we have a lot of interesting things to cover.
Absolutely. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Yesterday, in a very pleasant surprise, DC dropped their very first. They said it was going to be a teaser, but this was a full trailer of Lanterns. We're going to be
Yeah.
talking about that. Insomniac announced the release date of Wolverine in a quick teaser, like a 3 second teaser. That was strange, but we'll talk about that.
Hmm.
Marvel Games announced Marvel Maximum Collection,
Yes.
and this is such a very nice surprise, and because a lot of us who either skipped that time of playing video games or did play those games and want to get around to it again, this is a perfect opportunity. And then finally, we're going to conclude with the 40th anniversary of Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns graphic novel. It's been 40 years. This thing came out in the 80s. It is still to this day very relevant. So we're going to dive into that a little later.
So, guys, you know what we are going to be doing, and I'm sure that you guys are going to be joining us in this very special live stream because by the end of the day, a lot is going on in the world of superheroes. And what we need to do is we need to make sense of things, what we are going to be, how should I say, uh, introduced to, because there's a lot to unpack. Even though that we came across a trailer last night which was for the lanterns, we came across the news about Marvel Maximum Collection, we also came across news about Wolverine, Marvel's Wolverine game. So much is happening so soon. And we're just like how many days away, Son of Sparda, from the premiere of Daredevil Born Again season 2?
Oh, that's the end of this month. I believe it's on the 24th of March. So about, I want to say 2 weeks away?
2 weeks
Less
away,
than,
yeah.
yep, 2.5 weeks.
Okay, okay.
And they dropped
So
a new teaser trailer today. So that was a nice surprise.
new teaser, yeah. That we saw another Marvel character in that. So that's another sigh of relief to see that particular superhero. So we're gonna discuss that as well. So I'm just trying to finish uh, the updates with updating the community, our beloved community, so that they can join the live stream and be able to engage with us, share their comments. And we would recommend, for those of you who are watching on Instagram, I'm sharing a little bit of a live feed here on Instagram. Feel free to join us, okay? Because the more we are going to participate in a discussion, the better it's going to be for our community members in the rest of the GCC who have been going through some worrying times, which alhamdulillah now are much better. uh, and we hope that peace prevails inshallah soon. So guys, just take your mind off of stress and please join us in this live stream. That would be amazing.
Do you want me to start us off with the first topic?
Yeah, just a sec. Okay, so we are, yeah, we're good to go with this. Just one last bit. Okay, so now, so everyone, welcome once again to our monthly live stream where we discuss what's going on in the world of our favorite superheroes. Last night was pretty amazing for anyone who is a fan of Green Lantern, Green Lantern Corps, uh, and the days that went by before it. We came across the news about Marvel Maximum Collection. We came across the news about the 40th anniversary of The Dark Knight, and also the announcement of Wolverine, Marvel's Wolverine video game, which has now a fixed date, a set date for its release. So, Son of Sparta, I think let's start with the lanterns first.
Sure. Yep. So yeah, they released this trailer, and it looks really nice. I so you can't help but look at what people are saying about it,
Yeah.
and initial reactions are people are saying we didn't get to see anyone use their ring, their powers. There was just Hal Jordan flying. No one used their ring in this trailer, which is surprising. Uh, People were a little unimpressed with the suit. We got a very quick glimpse of Hal's suit, and people are saying maybe it's because theories going around that Hal has retired from the Corps, that he's no longer a Green Lantern, and they recruited him solely to train the new Lantern of Earth, being John Stewart. And we see them both not getting along too well. It's the sense I got from this is that it's going to be a little bit of a buddy cop show where
Yeah.
they're trying to solve maybe a crime or a murder or something that has to do with intergalactic aliens. That's my theory because Green Lantern has never been grounded to Earth, right? He's protecting Earth, but at the same time he deals with intergalactic stuff issues.
Right.
So hopefully we'll see some of that. We see John Stewart. We hear him doing a monologue saying, "You know, you're old, you're tired." Uh, so, but we know that with age comes experience, and that's the thing that John Stewart isn't really taking. Now, the actor who's playing John Stewart, Aaron Pierre,
Mm.
this guy exploded in popularity after people saw him in one movie. He started. Well, he's done a bunch of stuff, but he started his own movie on Netflix, and people have loved him ever since. And rightfully so. I feel like this is the perfect role for him. I feel like we're going to see him. My concern is that I don't want John Stewart or any Green Lantern to solely be a TV character. I would very much. I mean, eventually they're going to come around to forming the Justice League, and I hope when that happens, he gets his big screen debut. Um,
Indeed.
so this is going to be the second TV series in this new DC universe. The first being, well, technically the third after Creature Commandos and Peacemaker, and now Lanterns. So eventually, they James Gunn has never said that these shows will never cross over with the big screen.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Oa at some point. I would love to see the Green Lantern Corps. I would like to see more lanterns appear at some point because it seems like they're going to try and keep this very grounded to Earth. I don't think we're going to see Oa in this series. Maybe a flashback of when Hal first joined or when he was a lantern first starting up. But I think they're going to keep it very close to home. What do you think?
Well, first thing I wanna commend the team for basically releasing the trailer,
Yeah.
because they have captured the essence, as I have been repeating myself multiple times ever since they released some of the snapshots, screenshots of the series. That this basically takes us back to the wonderful critically acclaimed work of the late Dennis O'Neil and Neil Adams, who did the uh, Green Lantern Green Arrow comic, which was
Yep.
one of the best ever comics. uh, I mean, it was really, it had everything, but at the same time, it was really grounded with the kind of realities, the kind of challenges that were actually being faced by our world, and particularly by the Americans
Yeah.
at the time. So I'm really happy to see that this is borrowing a lot from it. The only difference being is, and I really like the fact that you mentioned that this is going to be a buddy cop, because look, you, me, our generation, okay, we grew up with the buddy cop TV series, we grew up with the buddy cop movies, okay. You're talking about Starsky and Hutch, you're talking
Yep.
about Chips, you're
Yep.
talking about TJ Hooker, okay. So and, to see that theme making a comeback, okay,
Yep.
in the form of our favorite superheroes, because yes, there is a huge fan following for Superman, there's a huge fan following for Batman, Wonder Woman, Justice League as a group, but the Green Lantern occupies a very special place in the
Yep.
hearts and minds of superhero fans. And this is basically like, the Flash is quite popular, but we need to remember that the Green Arrow became popular thanks to the Arrow series with the younger generation. So
Yep.
it was high time that Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps get their due.
Yeah.
So I loved every bit of it. I was going through the feedback from the internet. People are angry, and some of them are rightfully angry. You know why? Because one of the writers I recently shared in my Instagram story, that he said that we came up with the name Lanterns because you have, using the word green is stupid. And I'm like, why are you such condescending? I mean, like, just because an experiment with arrow work doesn't mean that the same thing can apply with Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That's number one. Okay, and if it was so stupid, a lot of people don't realize that Green Lantern is a golden age hero, much like, and came way before Green Arrow, even though Green Arrow is also a Golden Age hero. But Green Arrow came in the 1940s, whereas, like mid 40s. Green Lantern was slightly before it, Alan Scott to be precise. So if a character's name was so stupid, why does it still have the fans, okay, who are so much eagerly waiting to see the trailer, to finally see the right adaptation being done after what they did in the name of the Green Lantern movie that starred Ryan Reynolds? So yeah, and as the standard that James Gunn always follows, the standard which he has set in any studio, in any production that he goes for, that he tries to encapsulate all the key elements of a particular superhero. So in the trailer, we come across the mentioning of the squirrel, which is Chip, one of the key members or the most adorable members when it comes to, and one of the very, how should I say, liked character in the Green Lantern Corps. Uh, will this be initially grounded? Will it go? Will it take us in space or something like that? It will.
Yeah.
But my question, what was my question when I was watching the trailer?
What's that?
Are we gonna see Carol Ferris?
Oh, man, here's the thing. I feel
Hmm.
like the character of Carol is very much associated with Hal,
Yeah,
and I feel like they are sort of passing the baton from Hal to John. Um, so, I want to say yes, but I'm very skeptical. I feel like uh, if not Carol, maybe we'll see Star Sapphire.
I want to see either one of the two because
Yeah,
you know his relationship with the character Carol Ferris, and to
yeah,
see her become a villain, someone who starts to resent Hal Jordan,
yeah,
has a lot of animosity towards Hal Jordan. It's one of the
yeah,
very painful stories when it comes to the Green Lantern lore, particularly when we
yeah,
are talking about Hal, because Hal is the Silver Age Green Lantern.
yeah. I
So
want to also
yeah,
add that for a lot of people who grew up in the early 2000s, uh, John Stewart was their Green Lantern because he was the GL of the Justice League, right? When they formed the animated series Justice League, he was the one
yes,
they called on. So for a lot
yes.
of people who grew up during watching the cartoons during that time, he was their guy. And other lanterns made appearances. We had Kyle Rayner was on
Yes,
an episode of Superman the Animated Series,
he was.
and they did have a bunch of episodes about the core. So we got to see Kilowog. Um, I'm trying to think if we saw anyone else. There was a girl lantern in a two-part episode. Can't remember her name, but there is a comic book series going on right now in the DC universe called the Absolute Universe, which I guess we'll
Yes.
talk about because I have something to show about that later. But they're sometime very soon they're releasing their first issue of Absolute Green Lantern. A brand new character is going to be coming into light, so
Yes,
very
absolute
excited
Green
about that.
Lantern.
Yeah,
Okay. So now what we are going to be looking into is that we were thinking that whether we are going to see Oa.
Mm.
Uh, Here he is passing the baton to John Stewart.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Justice League animated series. Are we going to
Yeah.
be seeing Alan John Pierre hooking up with Hawkgirl, just like in the animated series?
Oh man, so they asked oh god, I'm forgetting her name right now. The girl who played Hawk Girl, they asked her about this.
Yeah.
Uh, would you like to see a romance happen between yourself and Aaron Pierre, who's playing John Stewart? Because that's sort of been the thing on the animated series and in some versions of the comics. And in fact, in the animated series, they sort of visit the future. Well, John does, and he finds out that they both have a son together. I
Yes.
think his code name is Warhawk,
Hmm.
and uh, so they asked her about it, and she said, "Oh, I would love to see that happen." See, she seemed very excited about the prospect of this happening, and I feel like it's been a while since we've had a very good established superhero romance. So hopefully, aside from Lois and Clark, so hopefully we see that come into fruition. That'd be nice to see.
And another thing is, we now have three Green Lanterns that have
Oh,
now.
Isabella Merced. That's her name. I just
Yeah,
remembered.
Hawkgirl, Isabella Merced.
Yes.
So now we have three Green Lanterns who have
Yep.
made their appearance in the newly formed DCU,
Yep.
namely Guy Gardner, Hal
Hmm.
Jordan, and John Stewart.
Yep.
Kyle Rayner remains to be seen, and there are two other Green Lanterns. One is Simon Baz, the other one is this young girl. I forgot her name. Uh,
I think Jessica something. Jessica
Jessica,
Cruz.
yeah, Jessica Cruz.
Mm. Mm.
So
Do you think
pretty
we'll at
exciting.
some? Do you think at some point we'll see Alan Scott?
That's a big question because Alan
Mm.
Scott is a very important part of the
Mm.
DC universe. The
Yep.
only thing is that I hope they just give him uh, that 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 persona, uh, that appeal that he had during
Yep.
the golden age and the silver age, because unfortunately when the new 52 shenanigans started, they started to change the orientation, they started to change the ethnicities of characters, and Alan Scott
Yep.
unfortunately became a victim of that particular policy. I want to see Alan Scott the way I used to read about him in the All Star Squadron comics,
Yep.
and Justice Society of America comics,
Yep.
because we are the ones who grew up in the 1980s. Okay, and
Yep.
that's a really interesting time for any comic book reader. If you were reading DC, if you were reading Marvel, boy, those were the days, man. Those were the
Oh yeah.
days. Some really, really exciting stuff.
There is one aspect also I'd love to see. I feel very confident saying they probably won't cover this in season one. If we do get to see a season two, I'd love for us to see some of the other lanterns, the Red Lantern Corps, the Blue Lantern Corps, the Yellow Lanterns, maybe even the Black Lanterns. Each are powered by different aspects of humanity. Of course, we know the Green Lantern power is powered by will. So I'd love to
Yes.
see maybe the Red Lanterns, because those are the direct enemies. They're powered by fury or rage. So I'd love to see that at some point. Hopefully on the big screen. I feel like that's a big topic.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look, we are seeing John Stewart, we're seeing Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Uh, some lanterns have been mentioned. We saw the lantern itself. Uh, I think John Stewart was holding that. So, are we gonna be seeing something related to Sinestro?
Man, I feel like at least a flashback, because that's a big part of Hal's training. Is that the people in the Corps trained him, Kilowog, maybe even Sinestro, because in a lot of versions of the comic, Sinestro trained him and then tried to get him to join the Yellow Lanterns
Yeah.
that he established. So maybe that's why he retired. He was just tired of fighting fighting Sinestro. Maybe he was tired of something else. But hopefully we get to see at least a flashback or a mention of why he quit, if he did quit, because it seems like his suit doesn't seem like it's been worn for a while. It seems like it's dusty. It's in the closet. So hopefully we'll touch on that a little bit.
A lot of people got ticked off because of the color scheme of the costume. What's your take on that?
You know, typically Green Lantern's costumes are bright and
Yeah,
they're green,
yeah.
and this suit was lacking both. So I don't know if it was because of the lighting. I did see a little bit of green,
Now
but
there are green strokes, very visible
yeah,
green
okay,
strokes.
good. Well, I hope that once we see him, powered up with his ring, wearing the suit, it does sort of light up a little bit. And in some versions of the comics and animated series, the suit is generated by his ring. It's not an actual suit. But there was a huge backlash after Ryan Reynolds' movie. People saying the suit looked terrible. It was too CGI. So maybe they wanted to take a step back. Maybe that was Hal's suit, and John will actually have a suit generated by his willpower. Because yeah, the lighting wasn't great, the angle wasn't great. We didn't see anyone wearing the suit. So I'm hopeful that once we see it in action, it'll look much better.
Exciting times, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's man, this is the year to be a comic book fan. I'm telling you, 2026 and 2027 are going to be our years.
I really like this spirit of optimism. And okay, now next topic that we have to go for is the Marvel Maximum Collection.
Yep.
So that's another huge victory for those of us who were really looking forward to retro video games, who are going crazy over Marvel Cosmic Invasion that brought back the 90s video games. Did they miss any game in that Maximum Collection, in your
You
opinion?
know, a personal favorite of mine was a classic game called War of the Gems. And you had, I think it was five playable characters. You could play with either Hulk, Captain America, Wolverine, Spider-Man. I think I'm missing someone. I can't remember. And Iron Man, yeah, if I didn't
Mm,
mention him. So about five characters. It's not everyone's favorite, so it's fine. Hopefully, we get it at some point. But this is what they're advertising is 16-bit games. Technically, now I had to do a little bit of research. It's not actually 16 games. It is actually, the number is six games, but different versions of these games. Because as you know, back in the 90s, we had the major home consoles were this. Well, we had arcades, we had
yeah.
the Super Nintendo, we had the
Yes.
Sega Mega Drive and Genesis, and we had the portable systems, the Game Gear and the Game Boy.
Yeah.
So there were different versions of these games for each of these. There was an arcade version, there was a Super Nintendo version, a Genesis version, so many different versions. In
Right.
actuality, there are six games. I'm going to go through them right now.
Hmm.
There's, and my most anticipated one that I'm excited to play, X-Men the arcade game. Very excited about that
Okay.
one. I think it was the most popular game back in the 90s.
Right.
Uh, Captain America and the Avengers.
Ah,
Actually, let's go through how many versions. So X-Men the arcade game. There's just the arcade version. That and this is going to play up to six players on your home console version. Um,
awesome. Awesome. Six players.
yeah, I
So
believe
we're
they
going to be
said
having the best X-Men experience.
local and online. So that's pretty exciting.
Oh boy. That's gonna be
We are going to
amazing.
have some fun with that one. Captain America and the Avengers. This one has the arcade version, the
Right.
Mega Drive, Genesis versions. So two versions on that one.
And
Spider
multiplayer?
Man. What's that?
Does it have the multiplayer co-op gaming just like X-Men?
I don't. Your
Arcade
voice is a
game.
little far away. Could you come a little closer?
Okay. Does it have the multiplayer co-op gaming, just like
It,
in
I
X-Men
think all
arcade
of
game?
these. I think all these do have multiplayer, except
But
for the
like,
single player. I believe Silver Surfer is the only single player game.
nice,
Yep.
nice.
Yep. So then we have, Captain America and the Avengers, Spider Man, Venom, Maximum Carnage,
Oh
and we're gonna
boy,
have
that's my favorite.
the Super
That's my
Nintendo
favorite.
version, the Genesis and Sega Mega Drive versions.
Awesome,
Then we
awesome.
have Venom and Spider Man Separation Anxiety,
Yeah.
uh, Super Nintendo, Mega Drive, and Genesis versions. And then we're gonna have Spider Man slash X-Men Arcade's Revenge.
Oh,
This one
that's
has the Super Nintendo version, the Sega Mega Drive, Genesis, Game Boy, and Game Gear. Like 4 or 5 versions of this game are going to be included. And then we have Silver Surfer. Only a Nintendo Entertainment. This was the first Nintendo. This came out on
yeah,
the first Nintendo. It looks very old.
yeah.
So
8-bit.
lots of versions of these games. Marvel, bravo! We gotta applaud these guys' efforts on giving us
Agreed.
classic games. Thank you guys.
Agreed. Agreed.
So if you guys have missed these and you want to play them, if you guys have played them in the past and you want to replay them, here's your chance. Games that have been sort of brushed away on the shelves for about 30 years are coming back.
And the best part about it is that you are going to be playing with some characters that were never ever released afterwards or before them, such as
Yep.
Deathlock, such as Iron Fist, because Iron Fist was in Maximum Carnage, Deathlock was in Maximum Carnage. Okay. And then there is a very interesting lineup in Captain America and the Avengers. Arcade's Revenge. A lot of people don't know that Arcade is like the Joker inspired villain. He's not exactly like
Oh,
The Joker, but he's really sadistic. And
right.
Arcade was a huge thing back in the 70s and the 80s. And this
Right.
is and the last time we saw Arcade in a video game was Marvel Ultimate Alliance that was released on PlayStation 2.
Oh, that's it's been a while.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
Arcade is a very interesting villain. And then we have Silver Surfer. So I don't know if we're gonna be because I never got the chance to play Silver Surfer on the NES. Is
Yep.
it gonna be against Galactus? Is it gonna be against Thanos? Is it going to be the Kree world? Uh, I mean, or Annihilus, just like Cosmic Invasion. We don't know about that. So
Yep.
so much variety is there when it comes to the roster of our favorite superheroes in these games. And when
Yep.
you're talking about the X-Men arcade game, I mean, you have, I think, Kitty Pride in that also.
Oh, could be.
Yeah, Colossus is there,
I
I
think
think.
yes.
So yeah. And what about X-Men 1993 game, the X-Men game?
Which one?
X-Men, the one that was released in 1993.
The arcade game?
No, no, arcade game is different. The
Right.
arcade game has Colossus and all these other characters, which was
Yeah.
exclusively released on arcade. But there
Yes.
is another game, X-Men, which was a super hit, which was released on Sega Genesis and Sega Mega Drive only.
Oh no, that
Uh,
doesn't appear to
that
be in
had
here.
Gambit. That had
Oh,
Gambit in
okay.
it.
No, that doesn't look like it's in here.
Okay, okay, okay.
Maybe if they do a
So,
maximum collection too.
man, that's gonna blow everyone away, man. That's gonna blow
Yep.
everyone away because a lot of people are saying that we need X-Men Clone Wars.
Yep.
Uh, we also need the Wolverine game that was released on NES system. We need the Punisher game that was released on NES system. Uh, and so
Oh, I think
much.
I wait. Was that the same Punisher game that had Nick Fury?
Yes, I'm talking about the
Oh, that
same one.
was that was released recently with I want to say Capcom fighting game collection. So it's primarily about two-player fighting game, but they
Yeah,
included they included the side scrolling Punisher game.
Then I need to check it out, man, because I need to play
Yep.
that game. It's a very good game.
I think Blade's in there as a playable character.
I doubt Blade would be there, but there might be a possibility. I never got the chance to play it because in those days, getting these video games was really big challenge. Really big
Yep.
challenge.
Yep.
But I was lucky enough to play Maximum Carnage and the X-Men 1993 game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and for some reason, Super Nintendo was not readily available in Saudi Arabia in the 90s.
Mm.
So, if you had the chance to import it from the US, very good. But if not, then it was a big challenge, to get those Super Nintendo games. And some of them, the roster that came with those games was just simply amazing.
That's right.
Okay. Wolverine release
Oh
date
man,
15th of
yeah,
September.
man, 15th September. Man, this was such a strange way to announce the release date. I feel like they should have done a trailer, or like a week before there was a state of play, and we heard nothing about the Wolverine game. I think maybe they're still working out the details. Should we announce this or not? And I think they just couldn't work it out by the time of the live stream. But it's coming out on the 15th of September. Really excited. Only a couple of months away. Now, here's the thing. We know nothing about the story of this game, but I feel like that's not too important. With Wolverine, we care about the gameplay, right? How much blood is going to be in there? Are we going to see him regenerate every once in a while, every time he's hit by a bullet or a fatal wound? It seems like it's going to be taking place across several different areas, and we did see Madripoor, I believe, in the trailers.
Madripoor, yes. Yes, we saw Madripoor, yes.
We saw Omega Red. So lots of really cool stuff to be excited. We're hoping we'll get to see a lot of different costumes across the comic books and movies. The one downside about this release date is that exactly 1 month later, the most anticipated video game in over 10 years, Grand Theft Auto 6, is coming out. And I anticipate that people will drop their families and their newborn children to go play Grand Theft Auto.
I brought this with me just to show it to you
that's
guys.
cool.
Yeah, this is the original disc for PlayStation 2 X-Men Wolverine's Revenge, which was released after the X2 movie was released in cinemas. I was in the UK at the time studying, and I just, had to buy this game.
Nice.
But when I bought it, I realized that, this game is a gem. Its gameplay may not have been something like what we are accustomed to these days with Marvel Spider-Man and so forth. But this game, Wolverine, is actually voiced by Mark Hamill.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. And the story for this game is written by Larry Hama.
Yeah.
Larry Hama, the longtime Wolverine writer who gave some amazing stories, who was responsible for the Fatal Attractions crossover line, where, he was part of the 90s X-Men era, which was being led by Fabian Nicieza and later by Scott Lobdell. So all of the great Wolverine stories that came in during that time, Larry Hama is the one who wrote this game.
Nice.
And you get the core villains, you get to go to different places, you get to change the costumes, you get the classic ones, you get the Alex Ross one.
Nice.
So this one basically is like the second Wolverine game after the NES version came out. And I believe the NAS version was released in 1989 or 1990, something like that, I think. And then this one came along in 2002, I believe. And for me, it remains a favorite because by the end of the day, it has all the villains that I want. Okay. And I get to, relive those battles. He gets to fight Sabretooth twice in this game.
Nice.
And I would end up replaying those battles again and again, multiple times.
Very nice, very cool.
Just to get that satisfaction. But to answer your questions about Like, are we going to be seeing some other places? Till now, we haven't seen if Sabretooth is going to be part of this video game or not. We saw Omega Red.
Yeah.
We saw the Princess Bar in Madripoor. Okay. But, and we saw the Sentinels. One of the
Mystique,
Sentinel
I think,
robots.
also, right?
Mystique, yes. Mystique
Yeah.
as well. So, are we going to be seeing Magneto? Are we going to be seeing Sabretooth? Are we going to see villains like Cyber? Is Deadpool gonna make an appearance, because Deadpool is part of the Weapon X program by the end of the day?
I
Are
feel
they
like
going?
Magneto
Yeah,
would be such a short fight, though. With Wolverine.
because of the adamantium extraction.
Yeah.
No, no, no. It's gonna be really difficult, especially from this game that I
Yeah.
learned. So, and then at the same time, are we going to see Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters in Westchester County,
Mm.
or is are we going to be coming across the Mutant Utopia, which was an island right off the coast of San Francisco? I mean,
Yeah.
where does this game take place? Are we going to be seeing the X-Men making an appearance in this one? Because from the leaks of Insomniac games, we learned that Insomniac is also working on an X-Men game.
Mm.
So yeah,
Uh, so since we're talking about classic games, when we talk about this one, I feel like I should mention also a game that I played religiously back in the day. When it comes to Wolverine, it was called X-Men Origins Wolverine, and
uh,
it was loosely based on the movie, but they expanded on it so much. Like
yes,
they show us so the time when he was going through wars in the jungle. They show us when he went to find Gambit. They showed us a dystopian future where he fights huge sentinels. So I kind of have a special place in my heart for that game, and I just hope this is kind of similar to what that was, and to what you just showed a little while ago.
X-Men Origins Wolverine game. In fact, I remember it had a rating of 8.1, I think, out of 10.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people really enjoyed playing that game. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play it, but I heard a lot of good reviews for it. And that game was actually, born out of the same marketing tactic as this game was, because this
Yep.
one was also based on the movie. If
Yep.
you play this game, Wolverine
Hmm.
is actually wearing the black X-Men uniform.
Yep. Yep.
But let me just make one thing clear. Even though the cover is showing Hugh Jackman,
Mm.
the costume that Wolverine is wearing in the game is actually from Grant Morrison. E is for Extinction Comics.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it wasn't like they gave him a complete, and it was pretty much comic accurate, the entire game, if you will.
Yep.
Okay, you didn't come across anything related to the movie except for things like Alkaline Lake, for example.
Yep.
Okay, so because in the movie he goes to Alkaline Lake along with
Yep.
the X-Men. So Alkaline Lake was something that was there, but
Yep.
uh, it remains one of my favorites. And now, you also mentioned that this the release near the release of Grand Theft Auto. From your experience, because you know more about GTA than I do, is this a good move or a bad move?
Well, I feel like we have about a month between these two games, the release dates, and I don't know the length of the Wolverine game. I feel like a month should be more than enough to finish the game. Some people might. Let me give you an example of a very popular game that just came out, Resident Evil
Mhm.
Requiem. It is
Right.
the ninth in the series, not counting spin-offs and whatnot.
Hmm.
People have finished that game in days. some people reported within the first 2 3 days it was out, people finished it. But for
Right.
some games, it's the replayability. So you want to go back and play it again on a different difficulty level. You want to get all the
Right.
trophies. You want to get all the collectibles. So the replayability is going to play a role, depending on how much is in this game. Are they going to put a lot of trophies for doing special moves, for finding special collectibles? Um, are you going to want to go back and play it again, depending on the story, on whether there's a higher difficulty level? So a lot of things like that depend on you going back and playing again. So hopefully
Right.
that's in there. I have a friend of mine who, if he hears something like that you can finish a game within a couple of days, he's like, no, that's too short. I don't want to play a game like that. And he's not even one to replay a game. He's like, in our age, I want something to really take months for me to play because in our age we have family, we have our jobs, and we have other stuff we have to do. So he's like, I want to just do the story and I'm done. So whether depending on whether you're a casual gamer or a hardcore gamer, I feel like this could take anywhere between maybe 2 weeks to a month.
Hmm.
And then if you're a hardcore gamer, it could take longer, depending on whether you want to get all the trophies. Because there's that friend of mine that I was just talking about who's a casual gamer, and there are
Right.
hardcore people who insist on getting every platinum trophy of every game they play. And I feel like
Hmm.
that takes a long time to achieve. So I feel like no matter what category you fall into, uh, there's going to be a lot of hype come November when Grand Theft Auto comes out. People are going to probably drop everything. They're going to call in sick to their jobs. They're going to call in sick to their wives and children. They're saying, "Baby, I can't see you for a month. I got to go on a business trip. Bye." And he's going to take his PlayStation and go to a hotel somewhere and play Grand Theft Auto for a month. And hopefully he's going to have Wolverine with him.
Interesting observation, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Guys like us, we unfortunately don't have that luxury of time, if you will,
Yep.
that we can play those games again and again and again and again. I mean, like, just for full disclosure, I'm still playing Marvel Spider-Man 2. This is still my first attempt.
Yep.
I was badly beaten up by Craven the Hunter, so I haven't defeated him yet.
Oh, that's a tough
And
fight.
yeah, and the game is only midway. I mean, like, it's not
Yeah.
like I've reached the final destination, because a lot of things need to happen
Yeah.
still. So yeah, I get your point. I mean, like, the replayability of the game, that also matters in this regard.
Yeah.
And judging it from what we have experienced in Marvel Spider-Man and Marvel Spider-Man 2,
Yeah.
I think a month's time is sufficient if somebody is a hardcore gamer.
Yeah.
Because for guys like us, I mean, I'm not a GTA guy, so please don't send hate towards me, guys. I'm not a GTA guy, but because I love superhero games, so that's my core
But
towards it.
here's
So
the thing I should mention, and you mentioned the
yeah,
superhero factor. A lot of
yeah,
people have modded the last GTA 5, to
yeah,
include superheroes. So you've probably seen the videos of Superman flying through one of the cities in GTA. You've probably
yeah. I
seen people mod Batman and the Batmobile inside GTA. So
Right.
this is a world where you can modders, well, I should say, can make anything happen.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, it's look, GTA 5, before Roblox ever came in, that we had GTA 5.
Yeah,
And recently I came across, uh, someone has developed a game called Flashpoint on Roblox, where we get to be Flash, and we are running around Central City and
yeah,
doing the missions and everything. But
yeah,
it just doesn't give me that level of satisfaction. I mean, I know Roblox has a huge fan base and everything, but
yeah.
for me, it's like, it has to be grounded in comics, if not
Mhm.
exact replication of the comic book storyline.
Yeah,
And it needs to give that experience which we have been reading for decades.
yeah,
So it's like the Wolverine game. If it takes me back to the 90s, if it takes me back to the 80s, if I get to have the best boss fight with Sabretooth, because that's the fight I always look out for.
Yeah.
Magneto is my favorite villain when it comes to Wolverine. Omega Red is also my favorite villain. But man, I want to have the best Wolverine versus Sabretooth fight.
You
And
know,
if this game gives it to me, whoa, I'm going to be
Insomniac
happy.
have they haven't let us down yet. They've delivered a bunch of really amazing games in Spider-Man 1 and 2 and Miles Morales. And we're really looking forward to Wolverine and the final installment of the Spider-Man games, the trilogy.
Yeah.
So they haven't let us down yet, and we're really looking forward to what they have coming forward in the future after Wolverine and Spider-Man.
Just to clarify, I mean, like,
Mm,
the best part about the Wolverine versus Sabretooth fight is the
mm.
hand to hand combat with the
Yeah, yeah,
claws. Okay.
yeah,
And for those of you who haven't played Marvel's Midnight Suns, it gives us that experience, but it's really brief.
yeah,
Uh, in this game, I mean, I hope there is a DLC which is specific to Sabretooth.
yeah,
Uh, and I mean, like, we need to have that. I mean, just like they did in Marvel Spider-Man, they have the City That Never Sleeps DLC,
yeah,
which gives
yeah,
us the opportunity to go up against Hammerhead and uh, Tombstone.
yeah,
Okay, the street level gangs, the
yeah,
magia, okay, or the magia, how do they pronounce it? We get to go up against them. So that's the thing, that is the thing. I mean, I need that to happen. And if they do some kind of a team up DLC with any particular Marvel character, let's say Spider-Man, because the team ups between Spider-Man and Wolverine are one of the most popular ones,
yeah,
we're in for a huge haul. The Punisher. Why not the Punisher?
yeah.
Okay. Which brings us to our last topic: 40 years of The Dark Knight Returns
Oh,
by
that's a
Frank
cool
Miller,
cover, man.
and Klaus Janson.
Yeah,
Son of Sparda,
yeah,
share your experience, share your thoughts about this
man.
wonderful.
This has been such an amazing. I'm just gonna try and find my notes. Here we go. So this graphic novel ran. It had 4 issues that came out between February. Oh my gosh, look at that art. That's amazing. So this thing had 4 issues that came out between February. They didn't have one come out in March, but February, and then April, May, and June of 1986.
Yeah.
This was very tonally a shift for the image of Batman from the wackiness of the 1960s TV show that everyone knew Batman from, and it was a dark, gritty old man. And this had so many themes that were just totally different from anything we've seen before. There were a little bit of politics involved.
Yeah.
It showed how he could not escape the curse of being Batman and the nightmares he was haunted by for years and years since he was a child of losing his parents. So he did retire for years and years. Bruce Wayne did, and eventually the corruption in the city got so bad that he had to don the costume once again. And I think it's been years since people saw him as Batman. And the people who do remember him, like the older cops, see him. Oh, there you go, man! Look at that art style. That's amazing. We don't get to see stuff like that anymore.
Yeah. And
And
this one.
can we focus on Superman out there in that? What is that? What is Superman doing there? So he's got one. He's got his shirt
This one.
open.
Yeah.
Yep, he's got his shirt on, but he's wearing boots and he's got one foot up. And I believe also in the animated movie, he's got an eagle standing on his arm.
Yeah.
Because back in those days, Superman stood for truth, justice, and the American way.
Yes.
And I think authors, modern authors, were like, "What is the American way anymore?" And they felt the need to omit that. It's no longer the American way. Um, so but this was such a graphic novel in the sense that it showed you how this old broken man could not help and stand by. He had to come back to his ways of fighting crime in his old age. He had to fight injustice. He came to the brink of death in a fight with the Joker.
Yeah.
The Joker had a parallel thing where he also retired, and once he heard
Yeah.
Batman was back, he's like, "Oh, I have to come back too now." So they had
But
mhm,
he was in a kind of a what's that, dementia
in a
kind of a
mental
state,
state.
that yeah,
Yep.
that he had forgotten who he was. But when the name Batman started to
Yep.
come from the news bites and everything, he, it opened up his memory. It brought
Yep.
him back to his roots, if you will,
Yep.
if that's the correct word to say all of that.
Yep. So we see the Joker come back. We see, uh, Bruce Wayne and the city try and cure Harvey Dent.
Hmm.
And we see how these characters have progressed over the years, only for most of them to come back to their ways. Batman's come back. Two Face has come back to what he was, even though they fixed his face, but he still had internal damage, psychological damage.
Bipolar disorder, yeah. So
Yep.
that's what Two
Yep.
Face has, yeah.
And then Superman in the last part of this graphic novel, we see that he's just become a puppet for the government.
Yeah.
That is getting, which is something the Justice League never did. They never got involved in wars and whatnot. But here he is taking a nuclear bomb, and then at some point, Batman is doing such a great job of cleaning up Gotham that the president has to tell Superman, this friend of yours is making us look bad, and we need you to take him out. And it gets to a point where Superman thinks he's doing the right thing by following the president's orders,
Yeah.
where he had to go to say, all right, I guess I have to go and take out Batman. Oh, there you go. So yes, Batman doesn't have a second thought. He's like, I'm going to put on my armor and I'm going to show you who you're dealing with in this epic. So we have to mention this fight was the inspiration for Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman movie, and a lot of the scenes in that movie where they both
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool scene. They made an animated movie that perfectly depicts the graphic novel. And then Superman, he had to be tricked in thinking that he killed Batman. Well, we're giving a little bit of spoilers here towards the of the end of the graphic novel, but he knew ultimately he could put up a fight, but he could never take on truly kill Superman. I mean, maybe if he really wanted to, but he was getting to the point where he did what he wanted to accomplish, and he took down the mutant leader and the mutant gang, and now the gang is following him now, and all he had to do was to fake his death. And by the end of it, Superman, realizes he's not dead. He sees Robin. Oh my God, what's the name of this new Robin?
Stephanie Brown, I think.
Is it okay? So she's standing over the grave with a shovel, and that's when Clark is going to turn away and leave. But then he hears Bruce's heartbeat,
Yeah.
and he just winks at her and says, "I know what you guys did, and good for you. I wish you guys luck."
40 years since this has been released.
Yep.
And we are now seeing Absolute Batman, which was released
Yep.
last year. Okay. Uh, w- how much Absolute Batman borrows it from Frank Miller's work?
Well, I so happen to have it right here.
Awesome.
But man, just look at this cover. I mean, I feel like
Amazing.
it borrows a lot, and he's a much bigger, chunkier Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and share an image, but Hot Toys is making their own 1/6 scale figurine of this.
Nice.
So let me see if I can share that. But he's much more violent. He has no problem killing people. So yeah, it's let me know if you're seeing this image. I'm gonna try and share this if that's okay.
Yeah, please share.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it, but yeah, now we can see it. Yeah,
So that's all the spikes coming out of his back. The
right.
bat emblem becomes his axe that he fights with. Even his cape has a functional thing. It has chains attached to it.
Amazing.
Oh, his bat ears come off and they become knives.
Right.
Um, Very cool concept that they've incorporated into this Batman. Like almost everything on him is a weapon, not a gadget, but a weapon, a deadly weapon. And then if we look
Beautiful.
here, they also made a Dark Knight Returns battle damaged Batman, which looks really cool. Like they made a clean version with the dark suit, and now they decide we're going to make a a damaged version, which comes with a Bruce Wayne head sculpt. So there he is, old man Bruce Wayne. I'm not sharing that one. Hang on. I need to share individual screens. Hang on. Here we go. All right, can you see it?
Yeah, just a sec. Yeah. Oh my God, that's
So
amazing.
that is battle damage Batman in all of his glories. His knuckles are bleeding, man. They're coming out of his suit, and his
Can you do full
shoulders.
screen? Can you do full screen
Uh,
on your system?
it won't let me zoom in. I mean, I can. I don't know if is that any better. Is that bigger?
Yeah, this is much bigger, way bigger than
Okay.
the one.
The
Yeah.
downside is that I can't change the image, but this looks good. Oh, we can go down.
Yeah.
So that's another picture with all the accessories, and that's old man Bruce Wayne. He man, all the wrinkles are showing. He's old in this, and then he's got his batarangs in his hand, wired cape, and then he's got
This one's by
this.
Hot Toys, right?
Yes, uh,
Amazing.
lots of cuts all over him, and then he's got his rifle that is a long range grappling hook in the movie and
Beautiful.
comic. But look at those
Beautiful.
cuts on his shoulders, man. That looks brutal. And his face, look at his face.
Amazing.
So yeah, man. Let me see if I can find the Superman because they also announced the Superman version of this. Yep, there it is. So it's a big, beefy young fella. There he is. Also has battle damage, like his face is bleeding because this is supposedly to depict his fight with Batman.
Right.
And also has a wired cape. Then he has a clean face, lots and lots of muscles. That's a beefy Batman.
Nice, man. And look at the
That's a
curl and
very
the
cool.
perm,
Oh yeah,
his
oh yeah,
hairstyle.
yep. That's a very
Love the
cool
detail.
flying pose.
Love the detail.
And then if you use a UV flashlight, you can see his eyes glowing.
The heat vision getting
Yep,
activated.
yep. So really cool effects, really cool figures. I'm very glad for I'm very excited to have these at some point when they release. But yeah, I'm sorry if I took away from our discussion of the graphic novel.
No, no, no. It's, I mean, like, this is really important for all the collectors out there because, there is a huge fan base for the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel, or the Dark Knight Returns story. And,
Yep.
a lot of people love Frank Miller for that work. Frank Miller has been on a decline because of his health.
Mm.
And the last big project that he was doing with Jim Lee, which was All Star Batman and Robin, was one of the worst projects ever.
Oh,
And uh, so, yeah, so basically, this is like when, Frank Miller was at his prime. He had just
Yep.
left Marvel and he had joined DC Comics.
Yep.
And to be able to commemorate all of that through these premium format action figures, I mean, that's the sort of thing we superhero fans are craving for.
Yep.
I mean, the reason I collect action figures, I don't collect premium action figures, but the reason I collect action figures is because of the comics, because I want to recreate those amazing scenes from those mind blowing stories that, affected us in a very memorable way. I mean, we were awestruck
Yep.
uh, because of those stories. And The Dark Knight Returns does that. So, man, it's like, what a emotional roller coaster ride
Yep.
that we had, thanks to our discussion, particularly when it came to Marvel's Maximum Collection and then The Dark Knight Returns. And as you can see behind me, I mean, like DC in the 80s still has a very special place. I still have, this is the McFarlane Toys reissued
Yep.
Superpowers action figure.
Oh, very nice.
And then I also have uh, Miller's, I think, first major project before The Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One.
Yep.
DC and Marvel in the 1980s were just at a whole different level.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Uh, Sorry, just a sec. Yeah, that's good. Sometimes, when I am going through my old comics, one of
Yep.
the things that really captivates me are those in-house ads
Yep.
for a limited series or the upcoming series. And when you are turning pages, you realize that so much was going on at that moment in time. I mean,
Yep.
in the 1980s, when you're looking at John Byrne on Superman and Frank Miller on Batman and George Perez on Wonder Woman. Okay, and then you have J.M. DeMatteis on Justice League International and Doctor Fate, and then you have
Yep.
the Watchmen coming along, and then you have Alan Moore doing a Superman story, and then he's doing Batman story. And right now, everything has just boiled down to absolute Batman when we are
Yep.
looking at DC Comics.
Yep.
In Marvel, there is nothing seismic happening. Okay, and a lot of the movie tie-in promotions are happening. I'm sure you came across the announcement today or yesterday that a limited series that's going to star Spider-Man, Hulk, and the Punisher. Okay,
Mm.
Long Way Home,
Yep.
which is going to be written by Jonathan Hickman and illustrated by Adam Kubert.
Yep.
The only problem is that the mainstream comics, the regular series of our favorite superheroes, they're just not delivering us the stories that we always wanted.
Yep.
Something has changed drastically, and I don't know what the editorial is thinking. And I'm just not really happy with the way that people are just focusing on the live action adaptations and the animations only. Comics need to have that thing. I mean, the experience that we get from comics, that's irreplaceable.
Man, you remember when there used to be like really big storylines like a Death in the Family or The
Yes.
Killing Joke or the Death of Superman? Those were really big, impactful storylines that made the news back in the day. They were like, DC killed Superman, and there was a huge funeral in the comics, and it was a huge. I mean, we know the rule that eventually all superhero characters, or most of them, come back, right? Except for Uncle
Come
Ben.
back, yeah. Except for
So eventually, did, but even his return was a big deal, right? They made a huge
yeah,
deal out of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's way more. I mean, like, let me try to see if I can find that. I mean, Yeah, I recently published a short about Alan Moore's most underrated story that he did,
Yep.
not one, not two, but three stories that involve Superman. Okay,
Oh,
and
nice.
they are quintessential 80s DC comics.
Right.
And people remember the Killing Joke, which even Alan Moore says it's
Mm.
not his best work. The
Oh.
work that's considered critically acclaimed, both in terms of writing and art,
Mm.
is actually coming from this trade paperback called uh, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. So it
Mm.
collects whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow. It explores how Superman would come to his demise.
Right.
Okay, and there is a special bonus story involving Superman and Swamp Thing. I
Oh.
think that was the first time these two got together in that.
Right.
And then followed by a Superman annual story uh, for the man who has everything. This
Mm.
story was adapted in the Justice League animated series when Batman and Wonder Woman, they go to wish him to
Happy
celebrate his
birthday.
birthday,
Yep.
and he gets caught up in this weird kind of a plant.
Is it the
Okay,
Black Rose? I think
something
the
like
Black
that. Yeah,
Mercy, maybe.
Black Mercy,
Yep.
Mongols Black Mercy.
Yep.
And when you that episode is an wonderfully adapted episode, but if you
Yep.
read the comic book story, it makes you feel his pain. I mean, like the
Yep.
guy who can leap off a building in a single bound, and who has heat vision, and who flies in the air, and who is like nearly indestructible and everything. He's so vulnerable from the inside.
But I feel like what was the strong part of that episode is that when he lost Krypton as a baby, he didn't remember any of it. He never lived on Krypton really, as
Yes,
except for the those that short time when he was a child. He the Black Mercy made him live through it as an adult who had a family and a kid,
yes,
and he had his
yes,
parents. So he lived through, having all that and losing it in an instant. And that's when he was released from the Black Rose, he was enraged. He was like,
yes,
"You have no idea what you took from me."
yes.
So,
It's I started to look at Superman from a very different angle after I read that story, after I
yep,
watched that episode, because
yep,
I think that story really made me connect with him more than any other story I've read. Because Superman is like that ideal. Okay, it's like the superhero we look up to because he can fly into the air. He's so strong. He can lift up a building and stuff and things like that.
yep,
And he's a Boy Scout. But that vulnerability that he didn't even remember because he was an infant, like you correctly pointed out. But the Black Mercy was able to gather all of that from his conscience, because his parents would tell him, or his pod would be having that simulation of his parents. It would share something about Krypton, or
yep,
whatever he learned from his cousin
yep,
Kara.
yep,
That was really, man, really, really
yep,
heartbreaking, really heartbreaking. And the title of the story, For the Man Who Has Everything, Moore and Dave Gibbons gave us one superb story
yep,
that, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, like, it's like I'm sliding back into the 1980s. I'm sliding
yep.
back into the 1980s. Comics was just unbelievable at that time.
I'm hoping at some point we get to that. So, what I heard and what got me excited about getting this is that I
Mhm.
was told it was the highest grossing graphic novel of 2025, or comic book. I'm not sure what to
Yes,
call this yet,
yes.
but it's been interesting. I don't see any of the other characters getting the absolute characters getting this much attention right now. So
Mhm.
hopefully, because I feel a very similar way about the New 52. It wasn't all that much, right? We didn't hear any groundbreaking storylines from that run, but
Yeah.
hopefully this absolute is off to a good start. This absolute universe. So we have absolute Wonder Woman, absolute Superman, and we're getting absolute Green Lantern. Oh, Flash is also coming out. So hopefully we get something big once they bring. Because I heard they're bringing all together all these characters at some point. They're maybe possibly doing an absolute Justice League. So we'll see what that looks like.
The Absolute Universe is having some weird dynamics. I mean,
Yeah.
Absolute Batman number 15 or number 16 issue is now the highest grossing comic book issue.
Mm. Wow.
Um, and but if you're talking about, those hardcore readers, people like thinking critical people, who talk about the editorial quality of the story and stuff, uh, they are all praise for Absolute Wonder Woman.
Mm.
They're saying it's one of the best series right now.
Oh, nice. I'll have to
And
check it out.
yeah, so but my biggest worry right now is, I mean, we're hearing about Absolute Universe all the time.
Right.
Whatever happened to the mainstream DC? Where
I
is
th-
it
uh,
heading?
I thought there was. Didn't they also come up with a new comic book of Batman in like gray and light blue colors? I can't remember what that one was called.
Yeah, Jorge Jimenez, the Batman comic. But no, I mean, like this is a major comic book event, the Absolute
Yep.
Universe, because it's
Yep.
getting people crazy. Youngsters, Gen Z, are buying the books like crazy.
Yep.
And the good thing about it is, I'm coming across a lot of youngsters who are, hungry to explore classical works.
Yep.
But when we're talking about the current works, I'm not, especially when it comes to the mainstream Marvel and mainstream DC.
Yep.
I'm not seeing anything right now. I mean, feel free to correct me, guys. Whoever is watching, share your comment, because uh, I am feeling quite lost, if you will.
Mm.
Because back in the day, I was like, uh, I was coming across news about one particular story, and the stories didn't have to be all connected with a crossover event that's going to
Right.
change the DC or the Marvel universe forever. No, sometimes even individual stories were so good. Like when I interviewed Paul Jenkins, we
Okay.
were remembering the series Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man stories that he had done. Sorry, not the Amazing Spider-Man. I forgot. Uh, Spider-Man stories that he were doing. Every issue, every issue that he did was a one shot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it was one of the best selling Spider-Man comic books because Marvel was coming out from the bankruptcy phase. Okay. And Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti had assembled this team of Marvel Knights. And Paul
Yep.
Jenkins was pursuing this strategy. One of the best, very emotionally resonating issues that he wrote, where Peter is actually remembering going to his first baseball game with Uncle Ben.
Mm.
Nothing to do with Sinister Six,
Mm.
nothing to do with Green Goblin, just plain old Peter a Parker family story, and
Yep.
people loved it. That was the beauty of comics. I still
Yep.
have the X-Men issue where uh, Cyclops is bonding with his son Cable. Okay,
Mm.
before his wedding, and suddenly the executioner comes in and they defeat him and stuff. I remember that Thanksgiving issue where Jean and Scott decide to share the good news with their X-Men family that they want to be they've decided to get married. That
Mm.
issue, I read it even to this day. I mean, like, it brings back all that 90s nostalgia, that, like, it's just a romantic issue.
Yep.
And in that issue, you don't have anything related to any supervillain going on or something like that. It's
Yep.
just Jean and Scott taking a walk around the mansion in
Right.
a beautiful uh, autumn, autumn leaves,
Yep.
as Paul Anka's song would say. Okay, and and then on the other side you have the X-Men preparing for the Thanksgiving dinner,
Yeah.
the Thanksgiving feast. And I really miss those days. Well, I really miss those days because
Hopefully
again,
we'll.
yeah.
Yeah. No, hopefully we'll
Sorry.
get something similar soon because I feel like those are the really valuable moments when they're just characters sharing their innermost thoughts and feelings with the rest of us without having uh, the need for a huge superhero villain/villain battle, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's been a while, but hopefully at some point they realize, these writers and publishers, they realize that's what's been missing for a very long time.
I hope. One
Mhm.
of the things I think that can change the mindset is the fact that the more readers buy collected editions of the classic stories, that will put
Yep.
up the pressure on the publishing side. Because if you buy back issues, it means nothing. But if you
Yep.
buy collected editions like the omnibus, like the epic collection, for all the classic stories and everything, it sends a very strong signal that whether the reader is young, whether the reader is old, because right now you can get all of the data on Amazon, on any e-commerce platform, and it will make them rethink what these guys are doing.
Yep.
Because frankly, I mean, like as I've said, in Marvel, there is nothing worth mentioning aside from the one that I just mentioned, Long Way Home, which is again a limited series, not an ongoing series. And
Yep.
in DC, I mean, like it's all absolute universe right now. And sometimes I wonder that maybe they might just say, okay, let's just forget about the mainstream. Let's just keep going with the absolute universe.
Yep.
I hope I'm wrong.
Gonna try and find something real quick.
What are you looking for?
The cover of Absolute Batman, Superman #2 looks interesting. I hear it's coming out very soon. It has, uh, hang on, the Superman, but he's wearing a helmet with the Omega symbol on it. So hopefully we get to see that. And the suit looks kind of cool. Superman suit in Absolute. Oh, here we go. Oh, they changed the cover. It wasn't like this before. Let me put it up for everyone to see.
It's the cover that you're talking about. I hope that's not a variant cover.
No, like when I looked at, so this is I guess the hard copy, and that's why it's so expensive. But so yeah, this is what it looks like, and I'm not sure, is this Vandal Savage or could it be someone else's? It says Son of the Demon.
Well,
I know the
either
only.
the
What's that?
hairstyle can also be referring to
Ra's al Ghul.
Lobo.
Oh, I wonder. But Lobo's supposed to be white skinned, right?
Yeah, but in the absolute universe, they are changing a lot of stuff. You know that.
Oh, that's true. I wonder if Son of the Demon could be Ra's al Ghul controlling Superman.
Possible,
Mm,
but I would put my money on either Lobo or Vandal
mm.
Savage, like you mentioned.
Yeah, because this looks like Vandal Savage. But
Yeah,
yeah, I wonder why they changed the cover. Because initially the cover was Superman. He had a helmet on, and the helmet had the Omega logo, and that is usually Darkseid's logo.
yeah, exactly. And I don't see the Omega logo anywhere here right now.
Yep, yep. But yeah, man, the suit looks interesting. I like how he has electricity coming out of him, out
Yeah,
of his hands. So you can see there's a $10 difference between the hardcover and the trade paperback. Um, but yeah, there's a statue of him right up here
Hot
that
Toys or which one?
highlights the suit. That's the suit in all its glory. That looks cool.
Is this Iron Studios or which one?
I believe. Let me look up here. It is Iron Studios. Good eye.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I've learned from the best. You.
I don't collect Iron Studios. They are, I mean, for this price, you could get a 1/6 scale figurine. And I feel like for me
I,
personally, I get tired of poses. So when it's in a fixed pose like this, it does look highly detailed. But I like to change it up every once in a while. But this looks gorgeous. I mean, I'm not sure if this is 1/6 scale or not. Let me see if we can see the dimension. Oh, this is only 9 inches. It's 1/10 scale. So this is much smaller than a 1/6, but it's much more detailed. You can see the definition in the muscles. The cape is fixed. He's fixing that one pose, but it's such a defining pose for Superman, right?
just look at the shine.
Yep, yeah, but it looks very metallic.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's
beautiful,
on every angle. Oh, and it looks like he's got his heat vision about to fire.
nice.
Yeah, that's a very badass looking suit. So yeah, let's dude, we should do a very brief segment where we talk about new comics, maybe from now. Oh, there we go. So this is comparing to a life-size person.
It's pretty decent. It's
Yeah.
pretty decent.
So yeah, those are dimensions down here. So it is about 9.5 inches in height, and then 7.4 inches in width, and then 6.7 in depth. So it's pretty nice, but I feel like I personally would not pay that much for a statue. I like my figures to move around.
Yeah, you're the premium action figure guy. I'm a regular action figure guy,
Yeah.
and but still, it's a work of art. It's a work
Yeah.
of art.
Oh yeah.
Which brings us now to the conclusion of our monthly Superheroes of Arabia Live. Once again, I'm grateful to Son of Sparda for taking out the time.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
Nah, man, thank you for taking out the time and going through the Ramadan traffic, reaching home in time, joining us, and sharing lots of good things about the world of superheroes. And next month, we're going to be back again, and hopefully, the circumstances around us in our region improve. And we are really hopeful that Middle East Film and Comic Con takes place on time. And with that, I'll just request all of you to remember us and everyone in the region in your prayers, because these Ramadan nights are very special. And yeah, Son of Sparta, any final thoughts on this?
Yes, a little after credits preview. We may be doing sometime soon a little bit of a much anticipated unboxing uh, sometime soon. So keep an eye out for that.
That is something that if I even give a hint, that's going to be a huge spoiler. So you guys have to stay tuned and make sure to like this live stream, share it, okay, and leave your comments. If you guys have any queries, if you guys have any thoughts, you want to suggest something, feel free to do that. And as I'm going to be having the honor to showcase some new items in some Sparta's collection, if you would like to showcase your collection, feel free to let me know and I'll be there to do it. Till then, take good care. Son of Sparta, you want to say something?
Yeah, just thanks to everyone who's been joining in on the live gameplays. I haven't had a chance to join in last time, but the one time I did join in was a lot of fun. So
Oh,
hopefully we'll get to do a lot more of those.
we have to, and it's gonna be a weekly exercise. Why? Because the uh, uh, difficulty, or the arcade version of Marvel Cosmic Invasion is pretty difficult because you don't have you have limited regeneration. If you are not careful, it's game over for you. So we are going to be doing that every week so that we can collect collectively a lot of trophies, accomplish missions and defeat our favorite supervillains along the way. So
Yeah,
thank you, Son of Sparta. Thank you to each and every one of you who joined
my
in
pleasure.
our live stream, and we are going to be back next month with it. And every Wednesday, 10:30 p.m. Saudi time, we are doing a co-op party for Marvel Cosmic Invasion. So if you're a gamer, if you want to join in, you can get the party code on my Twitch channel when we are live streaming, or you can join, if you are in Saudi Arabia, you can join the WhatsApp group and you can get the party code from there. Till next time, take good care. God bless you all.